I used to think video games were just a way to unwind, something you did to relax, escape reality for a while. That's what I thought, until one night, a harmless Fortnite session turned into something much darker for me and my friends. It started as any normal night. My three best friends, Ryan, Luke, and Caleb, and I jumped into Fortnite squads. You know, 4 players working together, trying to be the last ones standing. Ryan, well, he was the best out of all of us. He always led the way, pulling us through tough battles and teaching us new strategies. Luke, on the other hand, he was more laid back, quick with a joke. And Caleb, he was the quiet one, only speaking up when something serious was going down. We were in the middle of a game, everything going smoothly. Ryan was leading us, as usual, guiding us from one point to another. We were deep into the match, everyone focused, trying to survive. Then, something strange happened. Ryan's character stopped, just froze in place. At first, we thought it was a glitch. Luke joked about it, saying, "Hey Ryan, you taking a bathroom break mid-game?" But Ryan didn't respond. His mic was still on, picking up faint noises in the background, but he stayed silent. That wasn't like him. He was always the one shouting out orders, keeping us on track. So we kept calling out to him, but nothing. Then we heard it. A scream. Not a normal scream, though. It was distant, like it was coming from somewhere inside Ryan's house, but we could hear it clear as day through his mic. The sound made my skin crawl. It wasn't Ryan screaming, but it was loud, sharp, like someone was in serious trouble. A second later, we heard a door slam, hard, echoing through the mic. Then silence. I grabbed my phone and tried calling Ryan, but no answer. Called again. Still nothing. At this point, Luke and Caleb were freaking out too. I could hear it in their voices. But Ryan only lived a couple of minutes from my place, so I told the others I was going to check on him. I rushed out of my house, barely thinking. My heart was racing, my mind running through all the worst possibilities. When I got to Ryan's place, the front door was wide open. There were no cars in the driveway, and the house was dead quiet, too quiet. Called out for him as I stepped inside. No answer. The lights were still on, but the place felt wrong. There was this feeling in the air. Something terrible had just happened. My chest tightened as I moved deeper into the house, calling his name. Then I heard it scream. This time, it was Ryan. His voice was full of panic, coming out from upstairs. I ran up as fast as I could. When I reached to his room, I found him, hiding under his bed, shaking, pale as a ghost. He was barely able to speak, but when I finally got him to tell me what happened, his words chilled me to the bone. He said, while we were playing, he felt something touch him. He thought it was nothing at first, maybe his blanket or something. But then he realized it came from beneath his bed. When he finally lifted the covers to check, there was a man, a grown man, just lying there, staring up at him. Ryan was paralyzed with fear, frozen, as the man slowly crawled out from under the bed. The guy didn't say a word, didn't even rush. He just stood up, looked at Ryan for a second, and then calmly walked out of the room, leaving the door wide open behind him. I didn't know what to say. I was terrified, but I knew we needed to call the police. So, what we did. Arrived in what felt like hours, even though it was only a few minutes. What happened when they got there only made things worse. Officers started searching the house, but the second one of them stepped into Ryan's room, he froze. His face went pale, just like Ryan's. I asked him what was wrong, and he just shook his head, stepping back slowly, like he had seen something he couldn't explain. He muttered something into his radio, and moments later, more police arrived. This time, with backup, they swept through the house, top to bottom. But the man, he was long gone, vanished without a trace. No signs of a break-in, no fingerprints, no nothing, just gone. You never know what's lurking, just out of sight. Subscribe to watch more interesting stories like this from our channel.